Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulfur Blade, and I am here to talk to you about why Trump is going to win this election contrary to the polls. Now, some of you may or may not understand how polls work. What polls do is they basically ask registered voters, well, past registered voters, how they're planning to vote today. That's in most simplified terms. Now, who's going to vote for Donald Trump? I'm going to tell you that a lot of Americans who don't normally vote, who don't normally give a shit about the political process, are going to be voting for Donald Trump. So, how many people are in the United States? You know, let's ask Google. Or, yeah, how many people in the U.S.? It's a little shy of 400 million, I believe. 328.2 million. All right. So the next thing to know from this is, on average, how many people vote in a given year in the U.S.? Alright, are we going to find something here that's going to be simple and clear cut? Probably not. U.S. popular vote for president as a percentage of total population. So in 2004 and 2012, we almost reached like 45%. We were up to maybe, what is that, 43% at the highest it's pretty much ever been since 1788. So less than half of the country actually votes. Which then really brings up the question, what does it mean to be an American? So more than any other topic that could be brought up this year in politics in 2020, more than any other topic, I think this is the most important topic that is truly on the ballot. And I think the only candidate that understands this is President Donald Trump. So, what does it mean to be an American? Let's read some of the people who, quote unquote, got it right. Again, this is an opinion piece, guys. This is my opinion. If you want to disagree with it, make your own opinion piece. So here's one of the answers. If you work hard, you get things in life. Jose, college student, roofer, immigrant with legal status in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Born in Mexico. Born in Mexico, but he understands the concept of what it is to be an American. And probably the exact type of immigrants we want in this country is Jose here. So there's this false narrative that Republicans hate immigrants, which is just preposterous. We want immigration to be done through normal, legal, ethical standards. We don't want it to be done illegally. Crossing the border illegally brings up a whole range of problems with it. But that's a different argument, right? Being American is making a change and making good changes. Being American is being welcoming, being caring about other people, being proud of the country and its forgiveness. It's not holding grudges on anything. I mean, where's that going to get you? Natalie Villafranca, 14, in Texas, born in Dallas. Spot on. Very good answer. Being American, certainly we've gone through a lot of change in this country. We've come a long way in our over 200 years. To think back to 1776, when our founding fathers formed the country, with the belief that all men should be created equal. Well, that's Martin Luther King, but you get the concept here that there was a long period of time between the founding of our country and Martin Luther King saying that he had a dream. But his dream is becoming a reality. At least in my opinion, it's becoming a reality. There's a lot of oppressed people in this country who I argue are not very American. And that's what's on the ballot. Being American means protection by the law. Anyone can say whatever they want. Anyone can say whatever they want. I repeat, anyone can say whatever they want. Yes, anyone can say whatever they want. Remember Robert Byrd? Former Ku Klux Klan Klansman? Former Grand Master of the KKK who was a senator of this great nation? Remember that guy? He was able to say what he wanted. A Klansman was in the Senate. Do I think that's a bit bizarre? Yeah. But he had his voice, and he was welcome to make his arguments. And from what I understand, he made a lot of convincing arguments. Whether or not they were the best arguments, that's up for the individuals in America to decide. And that is what being an American is all about, is everybody can say whatever they want. Black Lives Matter can say what they want. Proud Boys can say what they want. Antifa can say what they want. Trump can say what he wants. Biden can say what he wants. But sadly, where our main problem is that mainstream media says what they want. See, it used to be mainstream media had some sort of underlying notion that they needed to actually report the truth instead of say what they want. The media, I think, by and large, held themselves to account for many years. It's not that government put any type of restrictions on them. It's that the United States citizen as a whole put an integrity stamp on mainstream media, and mainstream media, for the most part, for the majority of this country's existence, understood that integrity was the most important thing that mainstream media needed in order to do its job. Once the public loses faith in you, well, you're no longer credible news, right? Because you do not have the American people's faith. And that's big way where we've gone wrong in this country, is right now we have mainstream media saying whatever they want. And while it's definitely American for everybody who's not the news to say whatever they want, it's almost a reverse for media. Mainstream media needs to say the truth. So that's a strange little twisting of anyone can say whatever they want. I would say anyone can say whatever they want except the news. The news should report the truth. Even if I don't agree with them, they're still protected by the law. It's my job to enforce. That's their freedom. That's their right. Sean Larkin, 40, sergeant with the Tulsa Police Department's gang unit in Tulsa, Oklahoma, born in Virginia. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for your service. So, many of us have served in one way or another in this country. I'm retired U.S. Navy, Gulf War I and Gulf War II. I didn't go through some very trying times in my life to uphold the values of the United States, to watch it implode in the year 2020. So, again, what does it mean to be an American is completely on the ballot this year. In no other election has it been like, think back to like Reagan versus Mondale, which was one of the biggest blowout elections ever, right? People said that was a really important election, but plenty of people didn't vote. Why? Because there was no emergency that the American way of life was going to drastically change because of Walter Mondale or Ronald Reagan. After the election, the American way of life would continue on unscathed. And that has been pretty much, by and large, the standard, the truth in most every election in the past 40 years. Is none of these elections were really going to change what me, the average Joe, was going to be doing on a day-to-day basis until now. Now, the normal American person has seen record amounts of authoritarian practices. They've seen calls for mask mandates. They've seen unconstitutional stay-at-home orders, lockdowns for this quote-unquote virus. It's all of that is not American. That's un-American. And I'd love for you to have a debate with me about that, because it's within the American spirit to debate the topics, to debate the issues. But I'm telling you, it's un-American to infringe on people's civil liberties. Period. And the normal, average American understands that fact. And they see what is happening on a daily basis in this country right now, and they are scared. Nobody in this country wants to lose our American way of life to an autocracy, to an authoritarian regime that's going to lock us in our house, tell us we can't work, etc., etc. No American wants that. Well, I shouldn't say no American wants that. There's plenty of un-American people that actually want that. And yeah, I'm calling these people un-American. The shoe fits. Wear it. Being American is red, white, and blue, and being free. Amen. It doesn't matter what language you speak. If you're born in America, you're still American. No matter what you look like, no matter what. Sebastian de la Cruz, 12, student who gained attention and backlash when he sang the national anthem during the 2013 NBA Finals in a Meraki outfit. Good for him, though. I don't care. He sang the anthem. Period. He should be respected for that, not given any kind of criticism criticism no matter what he wore. I don't give a crap. Thank you, Sebastian. Now let's hear some un-American ideas. Precisely because we are not a people held together by blood. Bullshit. Bullshit. Most of the veterans who would be highly offended by this statement are no longer alive. I got to know a lot of our older veterans when I was a quartermaster at a local VFW hall for a period of time, and I worked hand in hand with some of these older vets who were actually on the beaches of Normandy. And to say that our country is not held together by blood would be a slap in their face. They would look at you like you were an alien. And I quite agree with them. We are a country that's held together by blood. Americans of all walks of life have bled to hold this country together. Now, we might not share the exact same DNA patterns, but God damn it, we're Americans, and Americans have bled so that other Americans can say stupid fucking shit like this. No one who knows who an American is except by what they believe. It's important that we do know our history because our history is the source of our Americanness. Well, that's true. History is the source of our Americanness. Remember the Alamo. Remember the southern states in the Civil War. Because they lost, it doesn't make them any less American. I think it's ridiculous that people want to tear down statues of Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. They were American patriots. Just like Grant and Sherman were American patriots. They were both Americans. They were all Americans. They just fought on different sides of a civil war. What does a civil war mean? It means a war between members of the same country. To forget our history or to claim that one side lost, like this, yes, the South lost, but that doesn't mean we should relegate them to the dustbins of never being remembered. That's wrong. When people wrote all men are created equal, they really meant men. Oh, God, I hate this woke narrative. Nothing pisses me off more than watching some clown say crap like this. Most Americans know better than to believe this woke social justice warrior narrative that's ripping our country apart. Right here, this is what's wrong with America today. These un-American people who want to claim that they're oppressed and that their oppression goes back hundreds of years and all the rest of us need to fucking apologize for it. No, we don't. You need to grow the fuck up and get a spine and fucking go somewhere else if you hate this country. But they didn't mean any other men except white men who own land. That's what they meant. But because the ideas are powerful, there's no way that they could get away with holding to that. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not even going to bother to read that anymore because it's this stupid narrative that has put us in the position that we are today. The bullshit that's espoused by Black Lives Matter. The bullshit that gets espoused on mainstream media today. The cult of intersectionality. Wow. I don't... To believe in intersectionality is not American. Normal Americans are not racist. Normal Americans do not believe in intersectionality. Normal Americans are individuals. We're not in a box. We're not. Our value is not denoted by the color of our skin. Our value is not denoted by the DNA markers in our blood. Our value isn't denoted by how big our ears are or what color our hair is. We get value as individuals. As individuals, we have the ability in this country to rise up and do great things. Or we have the same ability to sit on our ass, complain, bitch, cry, moan, and do jack shit diddly all. Those are truths. It's up to the individual. Black, white, gray, yellow, green, purple, orange. Orange Man is not bad. Orange Man got off his ass and became president of the United States and has done a great job today. So, you want to know why the polls are wrong? The polls are wrong because they're not calling up all the Americans who've never fucking voted before. And there's a lot of Americans who've never fucking voted before who are going to be voting this year. Why? Because what is on the ballot is, what does it mean to be an American? That's what's on the ballot. Our country is on the ballot. Our way of life is on the ballot. And there's hundreds of thousands of people across this country who are going to be voting this year for the first time in their fucking lives because of the stupidity that's infesting this country. But what I'm scared of is what happens when Trump wins. Because that same stupidity is still infesting our country. How do we fix it? How do we get rid of these un-American ideals? How do we get rid of these un-American thought patterns? Because the very fact that I'm saying we need to get rid of it is an un-American comment in and of itself, right? People's right to believe is an American concept. But at what point is belief in communism, in beliefs in systems that are wholly contrary to the values of our country, at what point does a line need to be drawn? Or do we not draw the line? Maybe we don't draw the line. I think as Americans, I suppose, it's our responsibility to not draw a line. To not draw that line in the sand. And to try to win this civil war we're in, not through violent confrontation, but through better arguments, better debate, better behavior. Because, again, what is it to be? What does it mean to be American? Being American is making change and make good changes. We've got a lot of people's opinions that need to be changed about our country. There's a lot of people that believe our country is bad, and we need to work to change their minds. Being American is being welcoming. We need to continue to welcome these un-American people. We need to continue to welcome the person with the BLM t-shirt that walks into your store. Can't just throw them out. We need to be caring about other people, because the only way we're really going to actually change their mind, tell them how fucking wrong they are, is if we're still accepting of them. But most importantly, we need to convince them that they need to be proud of the country. Because this is the greatest country that's ever been on the face of the planet. And to believe otherwise is maybe the most wholly un-American thought process there is. And if there's anything that needs to be fixed, it's that our young men and women, our children, need to be raised to be proud of the United States of America because it's a country worth being proud of. And it's forgiveness. It's not holding grudges or anything. You know, the Dems want to put us in what's it called? Hope and Reconciliation committees, where it's been done in other countries, like in South Africa, where it's almost akin to being thrown in a gulag and reprogrammed. That's not being forgiving. That's forcing another opinion down somebody else's throat, which is kind of what I'm claiming here, right? No. What I'm claiming here, as hard as it is to say, is that we need to somehow win this war of ideas through having better ideas. We need to somehow win this debate through the debate. Not through fists, not through violence, not through burning people's businesses down, not through ostracizing people or not talking to them. If you know someone who believes the American oppression story, if you know someone who believes that our country is bad, if you know someone that believes all of this malarkey, to use a Joe Biden word, then for the love of God, don't hold a grudge against them. Forgive them, for they do not know what they do. They're ignorant. They need to be taught. They need to be shown a better way, a better path. But until they choose to walk that path on their own, they won't believe the path. And they need to believe the path. They need to choose to walk the path of their own. They need to believe that our country is great, and they need to be proud of our country on their own. And I'm not going to say that this is going to be an easy task in front of us. It's going to be a very hard task. Because as rapidly as our country has spiraled out of control, I think it's going to take far longer to put all the pieces back together. But we need to hold together as a country and continue to remember what it is to be an American. And to not believe this crap, the un-American ideals, and stick to the American ideals. What it really is to be an American. Be proud. Be hopeful. Be brave. Don't hide in your basement from COVID. Go out and go to work. Oh, but you might spread the virus. No. Wash your hands. Do the normal common sense practices to mitigate the virus as best as you can, and to continue to put food on the table for your children, to continue to pay the mortgage to keep a roof over the head of your children. That is your responsibility. Your responsibility is to continue to work. Just like government's responsibility is to continue to keep the lights on, to continue to give us the infrastructure so that we can do our jobs, not to tell us to not do our jobs. Government should not be telling us to stay at home. Government should not be telling us that we can't go to church. Government should not be imposing on our liberties, period. Government is there to inform us about the dangers of whatever it is. Explain to us how COVID is transmitted. Give us the risk factors we need to make a proper risk factor assessment. And then every American makes their own risk factor assessment and lives with their choice. Sweden is the only sensible country left in this goddamn world that didn't shut down, And I don't give a shit about herd immunity. I don't give a shit why they didn't shut down if it was for herd immunity. Sure, if herd immunity worked for Sweden, then great. I'm not saying I believe in herd immunity. I'm saying I believe in educating your populace to do what's right. They will limit their own travels, I'm sure. If they feel a need to wear a mask, I'm sure they'll do it. But stop enforcing your personal ideals on other people. Because that's un-American. It's not American to tell that person he needs to put a mask on or get the fuck out of the store. That's anti-American. That's about as anti-American as it gets. If you see something you don't like, shut the fuck up. Remember what Bambi said? What Bambi's mother said? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Remember that. Anyway. So, again, final time I'll say it. Why are the polls wrong? Because they're only polling a certain group of people who may or may not be voting. They're not polling a large group of people who will be voting. And why are they going to be voting? Because the heart and soul, the very fabric of what our country stands for, is on the ballot. People who have never voted for are going to be voting this year. And they're going to be voting for Donald J. Trump for 4 more years. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Sulfur Blade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, all, peace